I chair the Mobility Committee, and I'm proud to be a board member of Cap Metro. They're always finding safe ways to deliver more sustainable, non-car transportation options to Austinites, and has been a North Star of my time on City Council. So next week really is an eye-opening opportunity to see our city and our transportation system in a different way. Thousands of Austinites who don't drive, whether that is by choice or by circumstance. I know it was for me. I represent a district of nearly 100,000 people, most of whom live in suburban single-family homes. So I've always understood my community's reliance on cars, but even for me, as a renter, fortunate to live on the 30 route, by participating in Week Without Driving last year, I gained a newfound appreciation for the logistical challenges and real dangers that non-drivers face every single day. By walking in someone else's shoes, or riding the bus, or by bicycling, we see firsthand what is working, what's not working, and how much more we need to do to fill in the gaps. Week Without Driving is a reminder that safe, accessible, and reliable transportation simply has to work for everybody. And this is not always easy. We do not always have the partners at the state or federal level to get this done, but whether it's trails, bike lanes, and bus stops we build as part of our $460 million active mobility bond from 2020, or the work we continue to do each day on City Council and at Cap Metro, I am proud of Austin's dedication to public transit and to expanding safe, reliable mobility options for our community. And that is why I'm proud to present this proclamation declaring September 29th through October 5th as Week Without Driving in Austin, Texas. I encourage each of you to take part, whether that's simply for a day, a couple of trips, or the full week, and reflect on how we can continue to build a transportation system that works for all Austinites. And I will now read the proclamation. Be it known that whereas access to mobility is a fundamental part of health, safety, and community connection, allowing Austinites to reach education and employment opportunities, medical services, shopping, recreation, schools, and to visit friends and family. And whereas many community members cannot afford or are financially stretched to pay for a car ownership and maintenance, the AAA estimates that it costs $12,297 a year to own a vehicle and recommends drivers spend no more than 10% of their income on their car. This equates to over $1,000 a month just to own a car. This means drivers need to make $120,000 a year to cover the average cost of car ownership. Median income in the US is only $77,000 per household. Whereas nearly a third of the people residing in the United States do not have a driver's license, either because of their age or a condition that does not allow them to drive. And whereas public transportation and a strong network of sidewalks and bike pathways aren't available in every community, making it much more difficult to get around, visit family and friends, and take care of everyday tasks for those who cannot or do not drive. And whereas going a week without driving is a great way to understand how we can improve our transportation connectivity and access to better meet the needs of our community members. Now, therefore, I, Paige Ellis, on behalf of Kirk Watson, the mayor of the city of Austin, Texas, do hereby proclaim September 29th to October 5th, 2025 as Week Without Driving in Austin, Texas. And we even made a pretty proclamation to go with it. And now I will turn it over to our good friend, State Representative John Busey.
I want to thank the councilwoman for her hard work and being a fighter for this. It's so important that our different levels of government work together to create communities that serve all of us. Unfortunately, in this state, we find opposition regularly, but I'm just so excited for the leadership of the Austin City Council. I'm State Representative John Busey from Austin and House District 136. Now, I'm here today because I know that investing in public transit isn't just about trains and buses and bike paths. It's about keeping Texans connected, unlocking economic growth, and expanding, above all, freedom of movement. Our state thrives when every Texan can pursue a career that matches their skills and passions. But right now, too many of our neighbors are stuck, not because they lack talent or interests, but because getting to work requires a driver's license, a car, and enough money for rising gas prices. Public transit connects Texans to jobs, schools, training centers, and opportunities. It makes our cities more attractive for companies, conventions, and tourists. When transit is seamless, everybody wins. And let's be clear, this isn't just about the economy. It's about dignity. Texans who can't drive because of age, disability, or cost should not have to pay a premium just to live, work, and play in their own community. I represent the Red Line connecting Northwest Austin down to the urban core. As the first and only rail in the region, I've watched how it's changed my constituents' lives for the better every single day, enabling hardworking Austinites to take their kids to school, run errands, go to work, and be home in time for dinner. As an avid supporter of Austin FC, I've seen so many fans use it as a safe option to get to and from games. We have a responsibility as a community, as elected officials, to invest in more systems that bring us together, not push us apart. The road ahead won't be easy, though. Twice now, 2 times in the last legislative sessions, we have seen powerful interests try to overturn Austin voters' decisions and rip away funding mechanisms that have made light rail possible. And twice, together, unified, we've been able to stop them. So let's be clear. These weren't harmless proposals from legislatures that oppose us. They were dangerous anti-democratic bills that were fast-tracked through the legislature in a blatant attempt to silence Austin voters. Voters who spoke with an overwhelming majority during a record turnout election, leaving no doubt about their will. Yet the opposition refuses to accept it. They will keep trying to block right-of-way transfers, invent new legal hurdles, and do whatever they can to kill the future of public transit in our communities and across this state. But if they're not going to back down, then activities like this and activists and community leaders and elected officials, we can't back down either. We cannot let partisan attacks delay or deny the progress that our community demands and deserves. The future of Texas transit will not be handed to us. It will be built because people stood up, fought back, and refused to let yesterday's interests drag our state backwards. We all deserve freedom of mobility, and together we will build an Austin that works for everyone. Thank you all so much for having me. And next up, I get to introduce Diego Martinez Moncado with Safe Streets.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us here at City Hall to launch Austin's Week Without Driving. This is a powerful opportunity to step into the shoes of the many people in our community who live every day without access to a personal car. Transportation is about more than getting from point A to point B. It is about safety and it is about choice. In Austin, too many of our neighbors face real risks when walking, biking, rolling, or taking transit. Families worry about whether their children can cross the street safely. Seniors and people with disabilities often encounter sidewalks that are missing or inaccessible, and riders sometimes wait for buses without shelter or cross wide roads without protection. Safety should never depend on whether you own a car. At the same time, true freedom comes from having real choices. Right now, for many Austinites, driving feels like the only option. But nearly a third of people in the United States, including young people, seniors, those with disabilities, and those who cannot afford the cost of a car ownership, rely on something other than driving every single day. Their experiences remind us that we need connected sidewalks, protected bikeways, reliable transit, and communities built for people, not just for cars. The Week Without Driving is a chance to reflect, but it's also a call to action. By taking on this challenge, we learn firsthand what it feels like to navigate our city without driving. We also help shape the vision for an Austin where safety and choice are guaranteed for everyone, no matter how they travel. I also want to acknowledge the broad coalition of community partners who have come together to make this week possible, from advocacy groups and design professionals to public agencies and grassroots leaders. This event reflects the strength of many organizations working side by side. Their collaboration shows that a safer, more accessible Austin is not just an aspiration, it is something that we can achieve together. This week, let us walk, ride, and roll together toward a future where every trip is safe and every person has real choices. Thank you very much. And I will turn it over to Kate Harrington for Movability.
Hello. I'm Kate Harrington with Movability. We are the region's Transportation Management Association, and our mission is to build the region around people, not cars. And we're so glad to be part of this important conversation. In Central Texas, we know that how people move affects more than just traffic. Transportation choices directly impact air quality, public health, and our regional economy. Designing cities around the assumption that everyone drives alone in a private vehicle adds to congestion, strains our infrastructure, and increases costs for employers and employees alike. But when people have real choices like transit, biking, carpooling, or walking, our whole region benefits. That's what transportation demand management is about, giving people the tools, incentives, and support to make those choices so they can spend less time stuck in traffic. Employers can save on parking and turnover costs, and our air stays cleaner. The mission of Week Without Driving aligns perfectly with us. It's not just about asking people to leave their keys at home. It's about highlighting the challenges that many of our neighbors face when driving isn't an option. And imagining a region, I think it cut out. Imagining a region where everyone can get where they need to safely and affordably. Movability is proud to stand with partners today to move Central Texas toward that vision. And now I'm happy to turn it over to Ashika Ganguly from Transit Forward.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here gathered with some of our amazing elected officials and amazing community leaders in the Austin area. Transit Forward was founded in 2020 as a coalition of community leaders that came together, business owners, real estate professionals, and community advocates to place Project Connect on the ballot and ultimately pass that ballot measure. Our nonprofit continues in our work to steward the implementation of the project and make sure that we continue to unlock options across Austin for ways to get around the city without driving. Building a robust and sustainable transit ecosystem has so many purposes. This week reminds us, as some previous speakers have mentioned, what it feels like to move around Austin without a car. And for so many Austinites, this is a reality that people experience every day. But unlocking options for folks to experience mobility and movement around our city is not just for folks that don't have a car. It is something that lifts up our entire city. More options means people can get to their jobs, to their schools, to their health care, to their doctor's appointments, their local coffee shops, and so much more with ease. It means a city where employers can tap into a workforce that can move around the city. In a city where opportunity for working people is just a bus stop away. Many of the most coveted cities in the world to live have one thing in common: the ability to get to the places folks need to go without getting in a car. Cities where skipping traffic, congestion, and gas prices isn't just an option, it's a given. This Week Without Driving is a chance for us to continue that work, to imagine an Austin of the future where our city can join that list. It's a chance to recommit to expanding transit and travel options for people from all walks of life and all over this city. Austin is well on its way to becoming a world-class city. It's time to get us there. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining us today on this beautiful morning. I'd love to say we harnessed this great temperature specifically for this event. Let's gather together and take a group picture if you'd like. And I want to say a special thanks to Hayden Walker for putting this together. You have to be in the front of the picture. And there's also a couple of books. I believe they were offered by CNU. It is the book Week Without Driving by Anna Zivarts, who was a guest speaker with